Hello, friends, and welcome to We've Got Books. This is Lana Newman Cruzy sending a warm welcome to all of you from North Texas, the Lone Star State, where the longhorn cattle graze and cowgirls are free to lasso their favorite cowboys. We've Got Books features a variety of genres to tickle your imagination. It's our pleasure to introduce guest authors and their books, along with our very own books. We promise to delight you with great Christian fiction. My colleague Anne Greene and I are happy you joined us. Our fellow author, James Yarborough, is not on site today, but he will be back with us next week. So, grab your favorite beverage and enjoy this joyful journey into the literary world. Today, I'm interviewing our very own multi-published, award-winning author of 38 books, Anne Greene. Anne, are we discussing historical romance, suspense, or contemporary humor today?
Thank you, Lana, for the nice introduction. Today, I'm discussing one of my contemporary suspense novels, Mystery at Dead Broke Ranch. I'd like to read the back cover copy first.
Yes, Anne, please do.
Mystery at Dead Broke Ranch. Can a woman with permanence and family stamped on her forehead find the courage to love a footloose but irresistible murder suspect? After Ashley Sinclair's grandfather is murdered, she dreams about converting the old Victorian ranch house she inherited into a haven for her younger siblings, twin sisters, and a brother recently paralyzed in a football accident. Because they were raised in different foster homes, Ashley fears they will reject her love. Other fears haunt her. Because her charming, handsome father abandoned her, she distrusts men, and she's guilt-driven for not having kept her family together. Stone Hunter Price goes undercover to work for Ashley as he tries to clear himself of evidence that he killed her grandfather. A vengeful lawman vows to convict Stone. Stone's own family believes he is a murderer. Alone and without funds, he's estranged from his family. The lawman is minutes from convicting Stone. The murderer is seconds behind Ashley. When the clock strikes, who will win?
Oh, Anne, that's a real cliffhanger. You've intrigued me right into wanting to hear more. Would you read an excerpt?
So glad you asked. This scene takes place at Dead Broke Ranch near Smalltown, Texas. I need a man, bad. Ashley Sinclair swept the sloping porch of her wraparound veranda of the weather-beaten Victorian ranch house so hard and fast that dust rose around her sneakers. I'm not afraid living here on the ranch with only Zach and Scuts. She tilted her chin at Rembrandt, her cat. But I've got to choose the man I need carefully. She stopped sweeping and clutched the old yellow broom upright. It's already 2 weeks since Gramps' death, and his murderer still roams the countryside, though the police promise they'll soon make an arrest. The rumble of a distant motor hummed through the air. She leaned on the broom and gazed down the weed-choked lane to where the gravel bumped into U.S. Highway 380. The smooth purr of a motorcycle tuned into a roar as the cycle grew closer. The stranger swerved into a right turn onto her rutted lane and sped toward her, spewing dust behind him and pebbles onto both sides. What now? She frowned. Surely that man on the monster cycle isn't God's answer. She dropped her hand and gripped the peeling post that barely supported her porch roof. Her heart clenched. Slackening speed, the cyclist streaked beneath her lopsided Dead Broke Ranch sign. Grasping the broom, she stepped down her rickety stairs and planted her feet. A greyhound, rump and legs encircled in a large saddlebag behind the driver, braced its head on the man's shoulders. The biker braked hard, swerved into a turn, and ground to a heart-jolting stop. She jerked backward, almost falling up a warped wooden stair. The dog's big cream-colored head lolled on the man's shoulder, brown eyes full of trust. Dust swirling around them, the stranger cut the engine. In the sudden silence, grit particles settled over them. Ashley fought her first impulse to flee inside the old house and bolt the door. But no lock could keep a man that overwhelming out. Hair spiked on her arms. Zach was inside, defenseless. "May I help you?" She lifted the broom handle so the stranger would get the idea she would use the puny weapon on him if she must. The man raised his helmet's black visor.
"You the person who posted the ad in the McKinney Messenger?"
His deep voice sounded baritone smooth. Yes. After a long week of waiting, she'd almost given up on the ad, and time was fast running out.
"Job still available?"
The biker pulled off his helmet. Deep brown eyes looked her over. A shiver shook her. She hugged herself to hide it. "Oh, I'm sorry, it's..." His hair was as dark as his eyes and as unruly. He unfolded his lean, muscular body. Black boots struck the earth as he dismounted his Harley. Tight black jeans covered athletic legs, and the black leather jacket probably hid arms inked with tattoos. "Well, I'm afraid you're not at all the older gentleman I had in mind." Her pulse shuddered. He carried an electric aura 10 feet wide and was possibly the most magnetic man she'd ever met.
"No."
He strutted toward her, cocky posture showing he carried a chip as big as his shoulders were wide. Her heart beat against her rib cage. She grabbed the broom and poised to whop him. Even attractive men could be murderers. He stopped short and spread his hands, probably to show he meant no harm.
"You advertised you needed a man to work around the house doing repairs."
She found her voice and her excuses. "Well, yes, heavy work, very heavy work, hard labor. If you're a drifter, you wouldn't like the hours."
"I'm handy. Plumbing, electrical work." His brown eyes studied her paint-chipped porch and ill-fitting front door. "Carpentry, painting, I do it all."
She slightly lowered the broom. "Really?"
"Yep, grew up on a ranch. I even ride."
He didn't smile, and he didn't look any less fearsome. "Well, I need 3 very strong men, but I can afford only 1. The hours are long, and even this late in October, our Texas sun can be mighty uncomfortable. Plus, I'm in a bind. You'd have to work 6 days a week." She frowned. "I only pay room and board."
"Fine. When do I start?"
He stepped closer. She tightened her grip on the broom, and he turned away to pet the dog. Why would he agree to work so hard for room and board? Was he desperate? Running from the law? Gramps' murderer? Her throat tightened. "Well, I don't think..."
"Looks like your prayers are answered, sis." Screeching the tires across the uneven wood floor, Zach worked his wheelchair through the narrow door onto the porch. "You're hired. I'm Zach. You met Ashley."
The biker offered a tanned hand, square and well-shaped. His nails were clean. She swiped her own hand across the back of her jeans.
Glad to meet you, Ashley. I'm Stone. The biker hesitated. His gaze drifted toward the gravel below his scuffed boots. Hunter. His striking brown eyes again zeroed in on hers. Stone, hunter, ranch hand, and handyman extraordinaire.
She shook his hard hand, but a tingling sensation crawled down her spine. Odd the way the biker stated his name and cut it off so abruptly, not meeting her gaze. Working with the PI she'd hired had taught her a keener way of noticing small things, taught her to trust her intuition, taught her she was good at solving puzzles. And this man was a puzzle. Stone hooked his thumb into his wide leather belt. He looked like a living, breathing ad for a bad boy with capital B's. She pulled in a deep breath.
Zack tensed his lightly whiskered jaw. Animals, sick people, all God's cast-offs. Ashley's a magnet for the walking wounded. He grimaced, backed up, and performed a wheelie across the porch. He called over his shoulder, or should I say, the wounded not walking. A magnet, huh? Stone's forehead furrowed. Well, if you'll show me my room and offer me dinner, I'll be glad to start work tomorrow. He glanced at the sky. Storm's fixing to move in.
She bit her lip. Though she needed a man's help desperately, she didn't like the biker's determined attitude. Do you have references?
You need a hired man, and I need a place to stay. Stone rubbed the 5 o'clock shadow, darkening his square chin. Sounds good to me, sis. We don't know anyone in town anyway. Zack stopped wheeling and glanced up at Stone. Only been parked in this one-horse town a week. Zack burned rubber across the broken screen door, wedged his wheelchair through the threshold, and rolled into the house. Behind him, the screen door sprawled sadly on the porch, warped, bent, and totally unusable.
Having such a formidable man about the ranch would be hard to get used to. But what else could she do? She had no money until she got paid at the end of the month. Zack's custody was probationary. The CPS county worker had given her 3 weeks. She must provide a safe environment, including wider doorways and wider ramps. And she'd already lost a week moving in and advertising. If she didn't hire Stone, Zack would default back into the foster care system. Praise God, the police investigated a strong suspect in Gramps' murder and would soon make an arrest. Otherwise, CPS wouldn't have considered letting Zack stay, ramps or no ramps. She couldn't refuse to hire the man because he was only a few years older than her, wore leather, and looked way too cool. She'd bring him aboard, temporarily. She glanced at the darkening afternoon. Storm clouds had scuttled in. Bred to Southern hospitality, she couldn't turn the stranger out into a thunderstorm. There's a bunk room of sorts in the stable. Shower, sink, and cot. You can stay there.
Thanks. You won't regret this. He flashed a smile.
She backed against the doorframe. Uh-oh. Danger. Look out. That smile promised charm. Lots of it. The type of man she'd learned from age 10 not to trust. A heartbreaker. A man like her father. Nerves strung taut, suspicion made them zing. The man's assured charm set off towers of clanging warning bells. She kicked a loose veranda board. She'd not allow fears about Gramps' murderer to mess up the homey atmosphere she planned to inject into this old house. Her chest tightened. She'd keep her promise to give Zack and her twin sisters a home. Nothing would tear her family apart this time. Nothing. She had held the vow in her heart too long to let it go now. Even though Gramps was no longer here, she would bring her family back together again. But first, she must find out more about this man and load the pistol Gramps kept in his bedroom nightstand.
Oh, Anne, thank you. I so enjoyed that exciting excerpt. Where can readers find Mystery at Dead Broke Ranch?
Go to Amazon.com, type in Mystery at Dead Broke Ranch by Anne Greene. That's ANNEGREENE. Or go to my website, AnneGreeneAuthor.com. All my books are listed there, and you will find Mystery at Dead Broke Ranch. Click on the buy link.
Thank you, Anne. Would you repeat your website? Do you have a newsletter to let fans get to know you better?
Thank you, Lana. Yes. Listeners can go to AnneGreeneAuthor.com. There they will find a short biography, pictures of different places I've been and things I've done, pictures of my oil paintings and covers of my books, along with their back cover copy and a link to where they can be purchased. Best of all, listeners can sign up for my newsletter and keep up to date on what's happening in my life, with my books and with the books of other authors. I'd love for every listener to sign up for my newsletter. I often give away free books in my newsletter. And my newsletter only comes out once a month and introduces you to my family and interesting events in my life.
Sounds like a great place for listeners to go. Once again, time has whizzed by, so we must say so long from deep in the heart of Texas and hope you've enjoyed your time with us as much as we've enjoyed having you. Join us next week when we guest spotlight our own well-known humor author, our very own James Yarborough, and his hilarious book of 10 humor stories, No Laughing Matter. And don't forget to go to buzzsprout.com and enjoy some of our 43 other podcasts with different authors. They're as distinct from one another as the authors who wrote them are unique. So this is Lana Newman Cruzy and Anne Greene saying see y'all later and read a good book for education, entertainment, and just plain enjoyment, and to keep those brain cells active. We hope you'll choose one of the fabulous books you heard about here on one of our podcasts. Keep exploring the world through reading. Reading reduces stress, sparks new ideas and interests, and improves your vocabulary. So keep reading. See you next time.